reporters, it has been 3 days since the horrific train tragedy in Amritsar took place that killed 61 people. We have brought to you the various lapses by various departments of authorities, and where accountability should lie, we have clearly pointed it out to you over the weekend. Unfortunately, for the state and the centre, they don't think that's important. They don't think fixing accountability is important in this case. For them, this is about blame game and petty politics. From the time this crowd of people, hundreds of people, was used as a sign of political strength on the day of the event, to now, when the dead bodies that have piled up after the tragedy at that event are now being used to score political points. Do the lives of these 61 people not matter? Their families, women, little children, do those lives not matter? Most of them are from a poor background, or a very poor background in fact. Labourers, rickshaw drivers and their families, many of them are not even from Punjab, they are migrants from other states. Is that why the state believes that instead of holding people accountable, instead of fixing responsibility, giving a big compensation is enough? The event was organized by a man who is linked to the Congress party. It was attended by a former Congress MLA, wife of a Punjab minister. The organizer now remains absconding, while he is happily releasing videos where you can see him crying and claiming that he is innocent, a propaganda video. The police can't find him though. Is this why the state is going slow? Because the men who organized that event are linked to the Congress party. And can the railways minister really repeatedly claim that there is no need for a railways inquiry in this case when clearly a train is involved? When clearly this event used to take place next to the tracks every single year, no incident ever took place except now. Who is shielding the people who should be held accountable and sent behind bars for the murder of 61 people? That is the big question tonight.
3 days ago, 61 lives were lost in a man-made disaster when a train ran over a crowd that was standing on the tracks and watching a Ravan effigy burn in Amritsar. So far, the police hasn't even questioned the organizer of the event, who himself has released a video crying conspiracy against him.
बहुत ही भयानक ते बहुत ही दुखदायक घटना है। मेरा अंदरों रोम रोम दुखी है। जो हालात इत्थे बन गए ने लाइनां ते, मैं तुहाडे अगे बयान नहीं कर सकदा मैं की हाल है मेरा। इहदे च किसे दा की कसूर है? 2-4 शरारती अक्सर लगे हुए ने, लोग लगे हुए ने, जिहड़ा कि मैनू पर्सनल रंजिश कर रहे ने मेरे नाल।
While state drag its feet in probing whether all norms were followed in holding the event, the railways has washed its hands of this issue.
मैं किसी की बात पर प्रतिक्रिया देने नहीं आया हूं। आयुक्त माने कमिश्नर अमृतसर का जो बयान है, मैं समझता हूं कि वो पंजाब सरकार का अधिकृत बयान होगा, जिन्होंने कहा है कि हमने कोई अनुमति कार्यक्रम की नहीं दी थी।
Unlike in most tragedies, instead of fixing accountability, netas are busy bickering amongst themselves.
पॉलिटिकल रंगत दी जा रही है, लाशों के ऊपर राजनीति जो कर रहे हैं, उनका मकसद क्या है? इंजन सेंटर की सरकार का है, रेलवे पुलिस सेंटर की सरकार की है, गार्ड सेंटर की सरकार की है, लाइनें फाटक सब सेंटर की सरकार की प्रॉपर्टी है। एफआईआर सेंटर की सरकार ने की अनपछाते लोगों के ऊपर। ड्राइवर को 6 घंटे में क्लीन चिट दे दी।
ऐसा है कि हम तो फ्रॉम फर्स्ट डे जब ये घटना हुई तो 2-3 चीजों की हमने मांग की थी कि नवजोत कौर सिद्धू को अरेस्ट किया जाए, सिटिंग और उसकी जो दशहरा कमेटी है उसको अरेस्ट किया जाए, जिन लोगों ने परमिशन दी ऐसी जगह पर 20,000 लोगों के इकट्ठे होने की, जो भी अधिकारी इसमें संलिप्त था उसको गिरफ्तार किया जाए। क्या असल में राहुल गांधी के इशारों पर कैप्टन अमरिंदर सिंह उनके आदेशों के आगे अंडर प्रेशर हैं और उन्हें बचाने का प्रयास कर रहे हैं?
Our MLA Sukhpal Singh Khera went to a step ahead trivializing the incident, saying that such incidents were normal in Punjab.
ਇਦਾਂ ਦੇ ਛੋਟੇ ਹਾਦਸੇ ਤਾਂ ਰੋਜ਼ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਨੇ ਭਾਰਤ ਵਿੱਚ, ਪੰਜਾਬ 'ਚ ਹੀ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਨੇ ਬਹੁਤ। ਪੰਜਾਬ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਰੋਡ ਐਕਸੀਡੈਂਟਸ ਵਿੱਚ ਲਗਭਗ ਔਨ ਐਨ ਐਵਰੇਜ ਹਰ ਰੋਜ਼ 8 ਤੋਂ 10 ਵਿਅਕਤੀ ਮਾਰੇ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਨੇ। ਮੇਰਾ ਖਿਆਲ ਕਈ ਹਾਦਸੇ ਇਦਾਂ ਦੇ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਨੇ ਕਿ ਇੱਕ ਫੈਮਿਲੀ ਦੇ 8-8 10-10 ਪਰਿਵਾਰ ਦੇ ਮੈਂਬਰਸ ਇੱਕੋ ਝਟਕੇ 'ਚ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਨੇ।
So tonight we ask, who is responsible for this incident? The organizer, the railways, or the state government? Let's debate.
Justice to those people, to those families is important. Now, many say that they should have known better than to stand on those tracks. But we must also remember that it is the responsibility of the state to ensure that rules are followed, that proper arrangements are made so that such tragedies don't take place. In this case, at every point, it is very clear that rules and norms were not followed. Basic human checks were not put in place. So we are going to ask both the parties tonight, the Congress and the BJP, the state and the centre, when are you going to make those responsible for the lapses accountable? Stop playing with lives of the people. Let's say good evening to our guests. AP Savaria, spokesperson for the BJP, Adil Singh Boparai, spokesperson for the Congress Party, Kailash Vasudev, senior advocate with the Supreme Court, Bacha Sen, a senior journalist, and we'll also very soon have BL Vora, former DGP. Let me first go across to Bacha Sen and ask him, Mr. Sen, do you think this is normal, that it's been 3 days, the organizer hasn't even been found and questioned yet? On the other hand, the railways tells us there is no need to even set up an inquiry.
Yes, this is really quite strange. I mean, one FIR seems to have been filed, but other than that, nothing has happened. There is this chap who's appearing all over the place, Saurabh Madan, who's claiming innocence. Perhaps he is, because we all believe in the rule of law, and a man is innocent until proven guilty. But why is he not being questioned? At least let him profess his innocence before the police, before a magistrate, but he's not being caught. That's very suspicious to begin with. The second point which is happening is complete confusion seems to prevail over the Indian Railways. The driver says he slowed down, he blew the horn, then he had to go ahead because there was a crowd pelting stones. Eyewitnesses say when people are Oh, sorry.
Yes, go ahead, please, Mr. Sen. We can hear you.
Yeah. Sorry. The point is the driver says he slowed down and applied the emergency brake, and then he had to proceed further because the crowds were pelting stones. This is very difficult to believe. Which crowd would pelt stones when they are being mowed down by trains? I mean, I would not be able to get up and start throwing stones on a train which is mowing people down right, left and center. That driver needs to be arrested.
Yes.
He needs to be questioned. I mean, the very fact in any law, in any accident, if a car or a bus or a train runs over a large number of people, the driver is the first person who is arrested. He may later on be proven to be innocent. That's a separate matter altogether. So it is the railways, the Punjab police who are not arresting this bloke, and the railways who are actually called into account for this.
You know, and this man released a video today where he's crying and he's saying, I am innocent and all of this is a conspiracy, ranjish ki gayi hai, sajish ki gayi hai, ye hai, wo hai. And I don't want to say that he's not facing the law but releasing these videos, because frankly, I don't even know if he's been summoned. I don't even know if the Punjab police has even bothered to find him or to call him to ask him a few questions. And that's the kind of pace that this investigation is moving at. So let me start with Adil now and ask him that question. Why are we moving so slowly? 61 people have died. Why haven't we even questioned the organizer of this event, Adil Singh Boparai? Is it because he's linked to your party?
Well, Tanvi, first and foremost, this is indeed a very unfortunate incident, and the Congress party has assured the victims and their families that justice will be delivered in a time-bound manner. Now, coming on the issue of accountability, the Chief Minister has ordered a time-bound magisterial inquiry which is going to look into the aspect of local lapses as well as the role of the media. So this is one action which has been taken. Point number 2, the police has also registered an FIR as far as the issue of 304A is concerned. Now, both these accountability measures are running parallelly, and the police as well as the magistrate are working on this and will fix accountability, rest assured, because the Congress party and the state government will fix responsibility. We're very clear in this.
But Mr. Boparai, do you think this is a sign of an efficient police? Mr. Boparai, do you think this... Wait 1 minute. Yes, we will take it point by point. But do you think it is a sign of an efficient and a fully committed police who has not done anything beyond filing an FIR against unknown people? Since then, for the past 2 days, nothing has happened. Who have you questioned? Have you even summoned the organizer? Have you questioned the organizer? Do you know what permissions were sought and what permissions were not sought? Because frankly, it took media less than 24 hours to find answers to these questions. What about your police?
I'll respond to that. I'll respond to that. As far as permissions and the other ancillary issues are concerned, there is a magisterial inquiry and that will ascertain the truth. As far as the FIR is concerned, the registration of an FIR is the commencement of an investigation. During the course of investigation, whatever evidence is available to the police, they will array other people or persons who are responsible for this negligence and charge sheet them and subsequently send them for trial. Now the police is working on this line. Rest assured, the police is working on this line. And nobody will be spared.
Why should I be rest assured when I have not seen any action? Mr. Boparai, at the sake of repetition, I will say this again. Is it true or not that this man, the organizer, is close to the Sidhu family, is linked to the Congress party? Is it true or not that he has so far not even been questioned? Is it true or not that he is apparently absconding and that the police can't even find him, where else he is sitting very comfortably and releasing videos to the entire social media, convincing people or trying to convince people that he is innocent? Now, why don't we have answers to these questions 3 days after 61 people are dead?
Well, I'm responding to that. I'm responding to that. This individual's political affiliation doesn't matter. As far as the law of the land is concerned, the police will investigate this, and if found responsible, liability will be fixed. It doesn't matter whether he's close to X person or Y person. But having said this, you cannot overlook the fact that the organizing committee doesn't only comprise of people of the Congress party. It comprises of people from across political parties, including the Akali Dal and the BJP, as well as members of the Resident Welfare Committee. But notwithstanding that, the police is looking into all angles. They will do what is necessary as per law. The magisterial inquiry is also looking into the aspects of how such tragedies can be averted in the future. So therefore, the state government is swung into action.
Sure, you'll come up with another set of guidelines. You will come up with another set of guidelines that Captain Amritsar will approve. I mean, it's ridiculous. You actually want to know how such tragedies can be averted in future. I will tell you without any inquiry. I will tell you without any inquiry. Please ensure that when there is an event with thousands of people having next to a railway track, you ensure that there are barricades, you ensure there are enough police personnel present, you ensure those police personnel move the people away from the railway tracks, you ensure that constant announcements are made to this effect, rather than the hosts and the organizers standing there and bragging about the fact, look how many people are standing on railway tracks. Look, this is a sign of your political strength and your political success. These people who are standing on the railway tracks far away from the ground just to see you. Look, that's your political strength. Respond to what? These are facts. There is no question here. There is no question here, Adil. The footage is on the screen. This is what was happening. Everybody could see people who are standing on the railway tracks, and this is the daytime picture, by the way. These visuals have come out today of that event.
Tanvi, if you allow me to respond, you made a number of points. I'll respond to that. We are not running away. We're not. Nobody is shielding the guilty. That's the reason why an inquiry and an investigation was ordered immediately. Nobody is shielding anybody. But please do not overlook the role of the railways here. There is a gatekeeper. There is a linesman. There is a driver of the train. There is the station house master. And let me point out, as per rule 2.4 of the railway manual, the responsibility also vests on the station house master and the gatekeeper. We are inquiring into all facts. Let me tell you, if any of the organizers is responsible and ultimately is held responsible for not taking permissions or for any local lapses, we will fix responsibility as per law.
Okay.
Nobody is being shielded. But what about MOS Railways? He summarily even rejects the demand for an inquiry.
So, okay.
The least what he
That's
could have
the other
done
aspect.
is to look into this issue.
So now that's the other aspect. Let me ask Mr. Savaria that.
Summarily reject the demand for an inquiry.
Fair enough on that point. Fair enough on that point, Mr. Savaria. How can you outright, without looking into what's gone wrong, reject the need for an inquiry? There was a cabin of the line man, a man crossing 300 meters down the same stretch. Hundreds of people had gathered. A train had passed by 10 minutes ago and nobody warned the authorities that there are people on the tracks. Don't move at such fast speed. What kind of railway system do we have in our country?
Tanvi ji, it's really a avoidable man-made tragedy, and the tragedy of a colossal amount where 61 people have lost their precious life, and so many people are fighting for their life in various hospitals. Now, the program which has been, we are hearing for the lakeside attitude of the government of Punjab is very evident from the day. I am hearing the spokesman of Congress for the last 2 or 3 days. They are not running away. Nobody is saying that you are running away. But what you are doing in that case, you rightly asked for that all video clips are available onto the television, all the television of the country, that the person in a white kurta and pajama, who happens to be, now it's well known, is in a Congress worker, very close to, well, the case as registered to unknown person. This is a very funny thing. The person is known by the name that he is son of so-and-so and a councillor of that, and the abatement has been done by a doctor who's ex-MLA and happens to be the wife of a
this is basic law. This is basic criminal law.
Government.
Now,
that
Mr. Savaria,
and on that,
Mr. Savaria, I already spent 10 minutes of my debate questioning the Congress party on the accountability of the state. My question to you very specifically is, why does the railways and the centre believe that there is no need for an inquiry by the railways?
No, actually, Tanvi ji, the railway has got its own jurisdiction. That was the railway informed by the organizers?
How do I know? Railways is not even inquiring about that.
Read Rule 2.4 of the railway manual.
Look here, Mr. Bopara.
Mr. Savaria, it's very simple.
Talk about your own.
There is no denial of the fact that 10 minutes before this train went by, actually less than 10 minutes before this train went, there was another train that passed the same track. The train that ran before, 1 minute please, the train that passed by before this one, few minutes ago, moved at a slower pace. People were on the tracks even at that point of time. They moved away from the tracks. Why did that train driver not think it is important to inform the authorities that hundreds of people are standing on the railway track? Now, I find it ridiculous that the BJP and the centre thinks that there is no need to inquire into that and investigate into that. If this event happens every year, and the railman who's 300 meters down the line can see it happen with thousands gathering, I find it ridiculous that the railway minister thinks that there is no need for an investigation here. Mr. Kailash Vasudev, what's your view? Does it look like because there are poor people involved, you can just get away by giving them some amount of compensation and paying for their medical fees, and nothing else matters, that nobody is going to ask them questions about who did you send to jail, who is accountable, who didn't give the permissions, or who gave the permissions? Both sides are only playing politics here.
In the first place,
no life is a poor life.
Convey our condolences.
Mr. Savaria, the question is to Kailash Vasudev. Please, I'll come back to you. Yes, Mr. Vasudev.
I said, in the first instance, please communicate our condolences to all the families who've lost their loved and dear ones. The aspect of losing human lives, starting from a few months old, few years old, down to the elders, at the cost of the state, is indeed horrific. When you see these kind of tragedies, which could be averted by implementing the provisions of the law, where vicarious liabilities set in, we feel saddened to see what the political masters and the bureaucrats are doing to our system. You've just informed us, as a matter of fact, one of the spokesmen of one of the political parties said that there were 4 organizers who organized this whole thing from different walks of life. You know who they are, you know their names, you know their affiliations, you know their positions. An RWA, a BJP member, a Congress member, and the like is what was just mentioned. Why can't you pick them up? You're in the process of investigation. Insofar the railways is concerned, every incident which involves human lives has to be investigated under the Railway Act and the manual. You cannot turn around and say we won't investigate. If a train went by 10 minutes ago, finding crowds on the roads, on the tracks, cut speed, the other driver should have been informed, and this gentleman should have informed the authorities concerned that there is a massive crowd which is attending to the Dussehra or festivities or whatever. Please exercise caution in trains which go by. So there is negligence available on the investigations or before the investigations have even started, on information available. There is no reason why investigations should not lead to arrests at this stage, because there is a straight case where 61 people have died, a couple of hundred have been injured. Avoidance of responsibility, passing the blame from one political body to the other or one bureaucratic system to the other, is indeed not in the interest of this country. We are using the blame game as a system to avoid responsibility. As per the press reports, there was no municipal permissions granted for the hosting of this particular Dussehra at this place. There was nobody available for the purposes of barricading or preventing people from spilling onto the railway tracks. So here there is negligence on the part of the organizers and negligence on the part of the railways. Prima facie, let us see what the investigations say. But the saddest part of it is, no one, the Punjab police, the railways, or anyone in authority is taking any steps to ameliorate the situation and give these people some solace by saying, look, we've looked into the matter, these are the people prima facie responsible, we are going to pick them up, or we have picked them up. Why isn't this happening? A magisterial inquiry, it will take 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. In the meantime, the police will lallow.
Yes.
Nothing will happen. You would lose a couple more lives to an accident which was avoidable.
Absolutely.
Sad.
4 weeks. Firstly, I don't even understand why it will
Very
take
sad.
for a magisterial inquiry for 4 weeks' time. But even if you say that that's the far end of the deadline, if they manage to finish it fast, it's okay. But Adil, is that an excuse for the police to go slow?
Well, Tanvi, let me assure you that the police is not going slow. And the allegation that those people belong to X political party or Y political party is not a consideration for the police. The police is collecting evidence. The police is examining eyewitnesses. The police is recording 161 statements. And soon enough, you will see police
action.
action.
So when will the police summon the organizer?
Is concerned, the scope is wide. We are also...
You require 164 statements.
When will the...
Well, of course he'll be summoned.
When?
The organizing committee will be summoned.
You require
whoever was
164
involved with the organization will be summoned. No, I'm saying 161 statements of eyewitnesses are being taken. After all, we have to ensure that this prosecution leads to fruition and we are able to get convictions here. So the police is preparing a watertight case. Ultimately, you have to file a charge sheet. So the police is already cracking. 161 statements of eyewitnesses have been taken. The other witnesses have been called. People who are involved with the organization will be summoned. Their statements will be taken.
When will you summon Saurabh, Madan, Mittu?
Will be obtained, and rest assured, responsibility will be fixed.
No, I don't want these empty assurances.
Could you repeat your question,
It's been 3 days, Saurabh, Madan, Mittu. the one who is close to the Sidhu family, who has his pictures taken, you know, with Navjot Kaur Sidhu, the one who's part of the organizing committee or either heads the organizing committee, the one on the screens right now who's claiming that this is a propaganda against him, that personal rivalry is the reason behind it. I don't know how though. I mean, who drives a drives a train onto 60 people when it's personal rivalry? But that apart, when will you summon him? When will you question him? I have a very simple pointed question. Before you go around hunting for eyewitnesses, why won't you ask the organizer whether his permissions were in place, whether he had asked for enough police deployment, emergency services, whether he or any of his men took efforts to move the people away from the tracks, or whether they were actually encouraging and appreciating and praising the people who were standing on the tracks. Now I ask this question and let me show it to our viewers. For those who missed this clip over the weekend, I will come back to you. Yes, hold on to that answer, because I want to play out this clip. Now you may have seen it, but some of our viewers may have missed it. This is where one of the other organizers, the host, is on stage. And Navjot Kaur Sidhu is standing on the stage.
मैडम जी इधर देखो, कोई फिक्र नहीं लेना दा उन्होंने, भावे 500 गड्डियां लग जान, 5000 तो ज्यादा बंदा लेना ते खलोता नहीं है। मैडम जी इधर देखो, कोई फिक्र नहीं लेना दा उन्होंने, भावे 500 गड्डियां लग जान, 5000 तो ज्यादा बंदा लेना ते खलोता नहीं है। मैडम जी इधर देखो,
मैडम जी इधर देखो, ma'am, look this way.
I can respond to that.
And he goes on to say कि ये event midnight तक भी चले, रात के 12 बजे तक. Yeah, I'm just translating it for our viewers. कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता, 500 गड्डियां भी, 500 गाड़ियां भी यहाँ से गुजर जाए, 5000 लोग जो ट्रैक पे खड़े, उनको कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता. He clearly knows and he can see them. He has clearly shown Navjot Kaur Sidhu that these people are standing there. And yet this accident takes place. How?
Well, Tanvi, all this means, I can understand Punjabi. All this means that a lot of people have gathered here. That's what it essentially means.
At the tracks.
But the magisterial inquiry and the police are looking into it.
At the tracks.
This organizer,
he knows people are standing at the tracks. Navjot Kaur Sidhu does not
his statement will be taken and we will
does not
take this
interject
case
at that point of time and say, hey, move those people away. Mr. Badshah Sen, would that,
no, I
is
find
that not what a normal person
I find
would
that
do?
to be an unfair assertion.
How is that an unfair
I'll
assertion?
respond to that. I find
somebody is encouraging those people. He is making it a virtue that you are standing on the tracks. Madam ji के लिए आप खड़े हो उधर और Madam जी उनको ये नहीं बोल रही कि हटो वहाँ से.
I'll respond to that if you give me 30 seconds. I will specifically answer to that allegation. Tomorrow, you're an eminent journalist of this country. You are invited to address a gathering. Are you expected to ask the guest coordinator, the organizers, whether they have permissions, whether they have the competent certificate from the MCD or the DDA? Please understand, here is a person who's been invited as a guest. You cannot force criminal liability on a guest.
No.
She is not expected to know. And she was there for a few minutes and after that she left. And as soon as the tragedy happened and the information reached her, she was there at the hospital till 5 a.m. in the morning.
Adil, firstly, I think you got my question wrong. No. I am not saying she should have gone there and asked for certificates, which also as a responsible person, she should ideally do. But even if she didn't do that, she needed to interject at that point of time and tell those people to get out, to move out.
Do you expect the chief guest to ask for permission each time he goes?
No, I asked the chief guest to tell these people, मेरे लिए रेलवे ट्रैक पे मत खड़े रहिए, मेरे लिए रेलवे ट्रैक पे मत खड़े रहिए, हटिए वहाँ से, गाड़ी आ जाएगी, आपके ऊपर से चली जाएगी, मेरे लिए रेलवे ट्रैक पे खड़े होने की कोई जरूरत नहीं.
To your studio and God forbid something happens, can liability be foisted on me? Can liability be foisted on me? You call your guest to your studio.
Mr. Badshah Sen,
to ask the guest coordinator
what is your view?
Whether you have the completion certificate from the Noida
Authority. Okay, let's ask another journalist. Yes, Mr. Badshah Sen.
I'd like to know. I'd like to know who is the people's representative from that. There he goes again. Who is the MLA from that area? Is it not Mr. Sidhu? Wasn't Mrs. Sidhu an MLA? Do the MLAs owe, even ex-MLAs, owe some, just a minute, The point is when people who have voted for you either before or earlier or now, you owe it to them. Your responsibility is to look after their safety. Otherwise, what kind of a people's representative are you? I understand the Congress spokesman's concerns, but the point is, even if you are not an MLA, if you suddenly find yourself confronted by people standing on the railway track as an ordinary human being with some form of education, would you not tell them to get out of the railway track, go and stand somewhere else? That, of course, did not happen, whether it's an organizer or not. Secondly, there's some confusion going on. Were permissions sought or not? A little while ago, Tanvi, I saw on your program that the police chief of that area said no permissions were sought. In which case, and this gentleman who's appearing periodically and weeping and wailing says permissions were sought. Yes. Well, if permissions were sought, he should be asked to show a copy of the permission he sought. He hasn't been asked. The railways, so the first point is responsible political figures, whether they are MLAs or municipal councillors, ex-ones or present ones, owe it to the people of this country and of their constituency to make sure that they don't go and do something stupid. These people were standing around and she did not do it, and Tanvi, I entirely agree. She should have told them. Yes. She should have told the organizer, until these people are moved, we will not have this program. Let's not continue the program. We will not have anything till they move out.
Now, if you are the leader of that area, you should be more bothered about the fact that so many people's lives are at risk, rather than the fact that this is a reflection of your political strength. Mr. B.L. Vora is with us. Thank you so much, Mr. Vora, for joining us. Mr. Vora, the question that I'm asking tonight is that it's been 3 days since that tragedy took place. The police hasn't even summoned or questioned the organizer of the event. Does that seem like an investigation that's moving at the right speed to you?
I entirely agree with you. In fact, in this case, I think everyone is responsible and not a single head has rolled. Firstly, those who sought permission, they knew that the ground was small. 2, why seek permission at a place near railway track? And why was it given? And when it was given, then why wasn't the arrangements made properly? And what was police doing there? Though I'm a policeman, I find fault with the police in this case. And Mrs. Sidhu was on the dais when somebody was announcing there that 500 log track pe khade hain, 500 trains chahe aa jaye, hazaron log khade rahenge, and she was watching and smiling. Wasn't she responsible to say? And I think she is also liable for this criminal negligence. And some organizers should have been arrested. Some policemen should have been suspended. Mrs. Sidhu should have been interrogated.
Each time you invite a chief guest and God forbid something happens,
Railway also is responsible, if you ask me. Just a minute. Just a minute. Listen to me, please. Now the railways also, that is also, they are responsible. Every day lot of trains pass. They must be seeing that Ravana's effigy is coming up. Every day it happens. That day also trains would have passed. What did they do? And what was that crossing guy, that Fatak fellow doing? I think everybody down the line is responsible. And I'm sorry to say that no action has been taken against anyone. It's already late. I'm afraid no action will be taken. But I think everybody must be taken to task, sooner the better. And they haven't been able to find out that man, the main organizer.
Yeah, I don't even think they're hunting for it.
I think that is what one can guess about.
Absolutely. We are being told he is absconding, but I don't think anybody is even bothered looking for him yet.
The paperwork.
Adil wanted to respond to what Mr. Vora is saying. Go ahead, please.
Yeah.
You know, I'll say this at the cost of repetition. Nobody is evading responsibility. We have ordered an investigation and an inquiry. We will fix accountability in a time-bound manner. Rest assured, the Chief Minister is very clear. But now to make political allegations against Navjot Kaur Sidhu and say that merely because she was present there a few minutes before this tragedy, and therefore you forced liability on her, it is unfair. As soon as she heard about the incident, she was there at the hospital till 5 a.m. at the morning. She was was actually
roaming
working
around
with
inside
the
a
doctors.
hospital
She
with
was
her
giving
entourage
relief
and a
for all
camera.
the best she could.
Roaming around inside the hospital
Let's not
in
politicize
time
this.
of an
This is
emergency.
not the
1
time
minute,
to
please.
politicize
1
this
minute,
unfortunate
please.
tragedy.
I did
Her
not want to
focus
bring
was
this
to
up
mitigate
again.
the
But
suffering
here
of
it
the
is.
people.
Adil Singh Boparai, and to all our panelists, do you think it's fair at a time of emergency when injured people, dead bodies are still being brought in, when emergency medical aid is being given, she went from bed to bed with a camera crew following her and her entourage? How is that fair?
She left
and after
before,
a gap of 2 hours.
She left before the tragedy. Let me make it very clear. She left before the tragedy. As soon as she heard about the tragedy, she went to the hospital.
Yes, and made a photo
op
op out of
one
it.
hospital to the other. But please, for a moment, consider this.
See,
consider this
just
pragmatically.
Can I
you
come in?
cannot
Can I come in
force
for a minute,
liability
please?
on a chief guest,
Can I
on a
come in
guest
for a
for that
minute?
matter.
Can
You
I-
are
can I
invited.
come in
You're not
for a minute?
expected to know. Let's not politicize this.
This is not
We are not shielding
politicizing.
anybody.
I don't
Whoever's
politicize.
responsible will be
I ask
taken to
questions
task
to
and
those
sent to
who are in
trial.
charge
But
and in
merely
authority. I do not politicize. I ask questions to those who are in authority, who are in charge. Now, instead of actually helping people out, she was actually creating more trouble there.
We will answer all your questions.
Kailash
But at the same
Vasudev,
time,
please.
the Railways is also responsible.
Kailash
The
Vasudev,
MOS
please.
Railways summarily rejects the demand for an inquiry.
Okay,
And
okay.
they shamelessly have not even ordered an inquiry till date.
Look at that, look at
Where
that.
is Piyush
There are
Goyal?
20 people standing around each bed. Now, I don't know, Mr. Boparai, if you've seen these visuals. 20 people standing around each bed in the corridors. There is no place, there's chaos. People can't find doctors, people can't find help, people can't find their dead bodies. And Navjot Kaur Sidhu is roaming around with a camera crew inside that hospital. I don't know to send what message to the people. And I do not think it was very responsible of her to do that.
One thing is now manifest.
She was She
Yes, Mr.
herself
Vasudev,
is a
please.
doctor. She herself is a doctor. Tanvi, please understand.
Politicians have
She was working with the medical staff and the nursing staff.
Which
there.
doctor roams around with a camera crew?
Politicians have no respect for human life.
Absolutely, Mr. Vasudev.
Here is a very sad observation one has to make. Our politicians have no respect for human lives, excepting at elections. We have got to take these people to task for the kind of thing they have done, irrespective of what the man is or what the person is. I think the Punjab police should be hauled. Punjab police should be hauled up first for not taking steps. They are taking sides. They are being partisan in this matter. Railways are being absolutely crass by not doing anything in this matter. First action the Punjab police should take. What stops them from arresting the driver? Who stops them? They have the right. It's an incident taking place within their jurisdictions.
Absolutely.
Arrest the driver, investigate. The other driver you say was also there. Find out where the man is. What is stopping the Punjab police from taking action? No, magisterial inquiry will come, then we'll take action. And this is absolutely disgusting.
Absolutely.
Horrible to see human lives lost and this kind of a parsimonious attitude on the part of authorities.
Mr. Vora,
very, very
Mr. Vora,
hurtful
please.
to see this.
Yes.
I feel sad
Can I come
for
in
those
for a
people
minute, please?
who are
Can
migrant workers.
Yeah. See, I have been in the government for 40 years. I have served in all these positions, right from low to the topmost positions. And I know for certain that deliberate attempts are being made here in this case. And the sole effort is to save Mr. Sidhu and the state government. And it's all political, nothing else. I think human lives have been lost. Had one politician died, we would have seen the hue and cry and people would have been suspended and transferred.
Not even a politician. Had one even slightly rich,
including by the political parties also.
Yes, had one even slightly rich or politically connected or a powerful person died, they would have been all hell breaking loose right now. But just because these are poor people, just because these are migrants, just because these are laborers, it doesn't matter to the politicians what's happening on ground. I have a caller on the phone line, a viewer calling us from Bengaluru. Rajiv, good evening. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, Tanvi. Hello.
Yes, go ahead, please, Rajiv.
Yeah, Tanvi, it's good. Thanks for giving me a chance. I am a US patent agent and I understand IPR and this law also. And I feel personally that railway is seriously responsible in this matter. Who says a railway, a central body, does not understand and is trying to create complicity complexities in terms of jurisdiction, that is absolutely intolerable. At the same time, the state government, the central government, both are responsible. And where sometimes I feel this old school of thought, including TAG, judiciary, the government employees, everybody is ruining this country. Do we have a separate passage to go to the International Court of Justice to report that we, the common people in India, are suffering because of the, sometimes of the foolishness of the politicians or the improper operating of the railway? They do not understand the value of life. Can you imagine a similar kind of situation?
No, there is absolutely no. Rajiv, you are right there. There is absolutely no value for life in our country, and that's quite unfortunate. And let me take that point across to Mr. Savaria. Mr. Savaria, why is it that you believe that the railways should not even inquire the matter? That one train passed by 10 minutes ago, that train driver didn't even bother to inform the authorities or the lineman or the cabin man, gate man, whatever you want to call him, that there are hundreds of people standing on the tracks. Why is it that we were told by the minister that there was a curve in the track, which is why the driver couldn't see this? But if there was a curve in the track and the driver couldn't see the crowd, how come the train was still moving at the speed of 90 kilometers per hour? It should have slowed down. It should have moved at a highly slower pace. Why is it that the center doesn't even want to investigate the case? Mr. Savaria.
Tanvi ji, you are absolutely right. There has been mistakes. There has been gross mistake. Knowing, now my Congress spokesman is saying that 161 statement has been taken of the eyewitnesses. But the people who are, including the driver of the train, who stops them? The police has got the jurisdictions. You see, once, in case of, it's a case of 304, a building collapses. I have made a building, it collapses, I am straightway being arrested. Because unfortunately, here a big political party, ruling political party leader is involved. So nobody is stopping the police to have a
No. So why isn't the railways doing that? Why isn't the railways doing that? Why isn't the railways questioning the driver of this train, the previous train, the gate man there, 300 meters down the stretch, he's sitting there, he couldn't warn them. He's just simply sitting there and passing on the message from one station to the other and giving the green light. Green light on the basis of what? When people are standing on the track. Yes, Mr. Vora. Go ahead, please, sir.
Two observations, Tanvi. Right. Yeah, two observations. One is the railway, I am sure, must be holding an internal inquiry.
No, they're not.
Which they are not making public. But the second thing is, I heard another channel. No, they would be doing it. I'm sure they would be doing it. But I said in another channel, I heard an Aam Aadmi Party MLA.
They rejected it.
It's a small incident.
They rejected
Such incidents keep on taking place. So all political parties across, this is how they talk.
Yes.
How they talk.
No,
I think it's better late than never. Even now it's time. They should, heads must roll immediately. Immediately heads must roll. Immediately. And the man who's expounding should be arrested. I'm sure he'll surrender in a court in a day or two himself, because he would be protected by people. So he'll surrender in the court so that he goes straight away to the judicial custody for a few days. It's a sham. One is really sad. This is how things are happening in our country.
So now this is what all our panelists have to say. Adil Singh Vaporai. Okay, Mr. Kailash Vasudev wanted to come in. To him first, and then Adil can respond.
See, I agree with Mr. Vadera that something positive should have been done on the ground. There is a very sad feeling amongst people now that nothing matters. Railways, whether they should take precautions to protect their property, don't do it. Do you see the number of encroachments on railway property all over where people die because they stay on the railway tracks? Do you see the total nonchalance on the part of the municipal authorities in the matter of grant of these permissions and licenses? Wherever you have a person with a political clout, that person only looks forward this. I have got 5,000 people when I got 5,000 voters. They don't see what the consequences of improper organization can do. There is a system of disdain we are facing. The disdain to the extent, come to the people for the votes and then forget them forever. Take them to their graves, forget them after that. This is what we have done
I'm
today.
sorry interrupting.
It is very sad for us to observe that our politicians...
I'm sorry interrupting. In this case... See, I'm sorry interrupting in this case. In this case, there's no vote bank politics. Actually, there are no votes. Had there been votes...
Exactly why nobody cares. Exactly why nobody cares. And definitely not the Punjab government.
That is why nothing is happening.
No votes involved.
That is why nothing is happening, sir.
Absolutely. Mr. Bopara, would you want to respond to that? Because half of these people,
therefore,
more than them, are from another state. They're literally not part of your vote bank in Punjab. You don't care?
Well, that's not correct. And for the Congress party and for the state government, every human life matters. Every human life matters, and I assure on behalf of the Congress party that justice will be delivered. Our first priority at the time of the tragedy was to mitigate the sufferings of the victims. The Chief Minister announced free medical care, government and private hospitals, ex gratia compensation was immediately dispersed.
Exactly my point. Your first priority was to send across some money.
These people are sent to trial.
5 lakh as compensation.
On the other part,
you think that will do the job?
A magisterial inquiry, which is all-encompassing and will go to the bottom of the issue.
You think that's the job? That's it? 5 lakh compensation, and that will be, that's all you need to do. Where is the action against the policemen who gave the permission for this event but did not ensure that adequate security personnel are present on that ground?
Please do not see it through that prism. No, you're wrong. You're wrong. Please do not see it.
Justice delayed is justice denied. Justice delayed
to alleviate the misery and the sufferings of the victims.
Justice
this
delayed.
Is going to be a multi-pronged process. We will ensure justice.
More than anything else,
although
we are at the bottom of the
for
pit as far as
negligence will be taken to task. But at the same time, I think it's important. The railway manual is explicitly clear. Rule 2.4 of the railway manual is unequivocally clear that the responsibility also rests
Look at that
with the
visual.
station house
It is
master and the
disgusting the way victims and their families are being paraded in front of the cameras, where Mr. Sidhu can then stand and give them checks and give them a hug. Why doesn't he right now call the investigators and ask them, where is the organizer? When are you going to question the organizer? Media happens to be there. No, sir. Adil, you and I very well know how this functions. This is nothing but a photo opportunity, something that your party now seems to be becoming an expert. His wife did it on Friday night in the hospital.
There is no photo op. We do not indulge in this kind of politics. For us, it's
so everybody is just standing in one line facing the cameras, and one by one Mr. Sidhu is just hugging and posing with each one of them.
It's about alleviating their pain. It is just that the media happens to be at Amritsar at this point in time. There is no photo.
Can I come in for a minute, please?
This assertion is absolutely incorrect and erroneous.
Just 1 minute. Can I come in?
I want to come in here for a minute, please.
Okay, Mr. Vora first and then Mr. Vasudev. Yes.
Can I come in for a minute,
Mr. Vadera, give me a minute, please.
See, justice delayed is justice denied. So, I'm talking of judicial inquiry, 1 month's time, and then you will reach the bottom. I know judicial inquiries. I myself faced 4 judicial inquiries. And then extensions of time, this, that. Justice must be given right here now. And that is by suspending people, taking action against people, registering FIRs, and getting the man, the response, and other organizers are available, arrest them at least.
Sir, have you not registered an FIR? Do you want a watertight case which goes up to fruition?
Do you want us to congratulate you on registering an FIR 3 days into this accident?
Statements have to be taken. It has to become a part of the charge sheet.
Unknown person.
Mr. Kailash Vasudev, please.
Please understand, Tanvi.
I am a policeman. I am a policeman, sir. Don't tell me what is charge sheet, what is FIR.
Mr. Kailash Vasudev, please. Yes.
Nobody is giving.
I am a policeman. Don't tell me what is FIR and what is charge sheet. I know all that.
The inquiry will ascertain those lapses.
Okay, all right, Adil. Yes, got your point. I'm running out of time, so just the last word to Mr. Kailash Vasudev. Yes.
So should we convict them? Should we convict them based on videos, based on YouTube videos, based on television videos?
This debate tells us our political masters are at the worst of their morals insofar as the people are concerned. They have no respect, no views, nothing to support the people who are the persons who are the sufferers. Look at this. You've lost 61 lives. You've got God knows how many in hospital. And then you say you will have an inquiry, you will do this, you will do that. Why can't you take action now? What frightens you? What frightens you is your conscience. You have none.
Yes, and they're counting on the fact that a month from now people would have forgotten about it. The media, they count on to forget about this case within a month for all of us to go to move on to other stories so that nobody asks them questions about the action taken. One report will be filed and some comments will be made, and that's that. And that's exactly what the plan is here. I want to know, and this is my question to the Punjab government, if you truly want to give justice to these people, if you truly want to stand by them, then why isn't that your police is telling us on an hourly basis? Why isn't the police holding press briefings every 6 hours or telling the people what is the pace of investigation, where has it reached? Who have you questioned? Have you even summoned this man who's on the screens right now, who organized that entire event? Do you know what permissions are taken? How were the permissions given by the police if arrangements were not made? What about those people who are standing on the stage praising and encouraging people to stand on the tracks? What about the railway train driver who passed that place and did not inform the authorities that there were crowds which had gathered on the tracks? Nothing has been done, nothing, only empty assurances, checks of money and compensation given to the victims and lots of photo opportunities, that's all. Press release after press release assuring us action and no action by the state government. The centre and the railways don't even bother doing that. For them, it's not even a story worth looking into. No investigation needed. That is what Manoj Sinha said on Saturday. That is what he has told us today. Because in this life, people, unless the party needs your vote at that point of time, they don't care about you. Watch out for yourself, take care of yourself. They do not care. And if you are a poor migrant laborer in another state, away from your home, where your vote doesn't count, then forget about it. Take some money and shut up. That's the message that's coming in from the governments today. Now, do we want to be the kind of voters that accept that? Or do we want to be the voters who remind our politicians the next time they come for a vote that you did this and that wasn't right, which is why you're not going to get our vote the next time? Think about it. Thank you for joining us.